Welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Sheer Brilliance Podcast. Exciting week. Because we are talking about our New York mother flipping Knicks. Okay? And I had to jump on here because of the excitement. I had a little bit of time. I've been away for a little bit, but I am back. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for returning to the podcast. It's the Sheer Brilliance Podcast. Please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and share with other members of the Knicks Nation community. We are growing, we are developing, and we got next, baby. But this is going to be the Knicks Deli edition. And in the spirit of our young players getting some time, you know what I mean? They look hungry. The team looks a little bit different. So this is going to be the Knicks Deli edition. So let's get into it. I just wanted to recap this week. We had a few phenomenal games. You know, I believe we played Sacramento. We just played Dallas. And we played LA, the LA Clippers. And our New York Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak now. And I feel that the feeling around the team is a little bit different. Whether he was forced into it or not, and I know that many of you are going to have that type of feeling in terms of Tibbs, and injuries have required him now to throw the young cats into the fire. You know what I mean? Like they are in as ingredients to the team, and it's working. So them young boys are balling, and they look like they're hungry for time. They look like they're hungry to prove a point, and man. Anytime you're hungry, where do you go? Especially in New York, where do you go? You gotta go to the deli. So this is the Knicks Deli edition of the Sheer Brilliance Podcast, sponsored by Sheer Brilliance. Let's get into it. All right, so they're starting to look hungry, and since they look hungry, we're now in the deli. You know what happens when you go to the deli, walk into the ding dong, or bing bong. You walk into the deli, yo, what up? Let me see. Let me get a chopped cheese. Let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Let me get a dollar slice, and let me get a quarter water. So, how we play Knicks edition is those are the 4 categories, right? So you're either a chopped cheese, which means you're about 3 different components that make up something special. The chopped cheese, is kind of new, but man, that joint be busting. All right. So what player is relatively new to the team? But man, they've been killing it, you know, over the last 3 games. If we look at the bacon, egg, and cheese, you order a bacon, egg, and cheese, there are 3 components to that make it phenomenal, bacon, and egg, and the cheese. So we're going to look at what 3 players have really been gelling over this 3-game span that have really made this something beautiful to watch. When we talk about the dollar slice is a staple in New York. Best pizza ever in the country, all right? But the dollar slice is the staples, that classic, always there, you know, kind of consistent and just good. So over the period of the 3 games, what have been the most consistent player? Who has been just good? Then we got the quarter water. Quarter water is somebody who has showed up for a quarter or 2 on spurts and just right. You know what I mean? All those other foods you have in place, they're good, but you need that quarter water to make it whole. So who's the quarter water over the last 3 games that have showed up in the quarter and really have imposed their presence on the game? So that's how we're going to roll, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the chopped cheese. Who's relatively new, who's kind of burst on the scene and has really been making their mark. Now, I was kind of thrown up in the air, right, between 2 of the players. 2 of the players that I was kind of about. One, Deuce McBride, young Deuce. Many of us in the Knicks Nation has been really pushing to get this kid some playing time. And I don't know what it is because it's well known and well documented that he was Tibbs' guy. He's been Tibbs from the draft. We were just hearing a lot of, bam, you know what, we're moving around. But Tibbs got this eye on this kid. You know what I mean? So I don't know what it is. I don't know what he's not showing in practice. But it just seemed like he just couldn't get on the floor. Even Derrick Rose gave him, you know, a vote of confidence where he's just like, yo, we know what we have. Just play this kid. But I think ultimately, what it is with Tibbs kind of wanted to show like, yo, listen, you got to earn your stripes. He know he's good and he knows he's next. But he got some vets in front of him. I think he just wanted him to learn and just kind of be humble in making his way into the lineup. So Deuce McBride was one. The other guy, y'all already know. Killer Cam. You know what I mean? So Cam Reddish. This boy, man, he's been in the game. You know, for me, it's been a joy just kind of seeing how he interacts with the team, seeing how he plays in the flow of the game. You notice for me, I notice his size. He's kind of tall, you know what I mean, for his position. And next, he's fluid. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he looks versatile. He looks like a Swiss Army knife type of player. You know what I mean? You could tell he could shoot that thing. But then also it's just like, yo, he's all over the place. You know, sometimes in the offense they'll have him camped out on the outside on the perimeter, but then he moves without the ball as well. And before he got injured, that game before he got injured, man, he was all over. He was making an impact. His fingerprints were all over the game. And the way he got injured was a testimony of his hustle. You know what I mean? That boy was really playing to make his mark. And I think it's phenomenal to get him on the team with RJ because he sees what RJ is doing. And he is like, yo, I'm just as good. And I got my boy here now, so let me prove it. And he really was like, yo, killing it to prove it. So if I'm looking at who the chopped cheese is, only for the sake of having more playing time, I'm going to give it to Cam Reddish. Man, Cam Reddish, bro, I was like, all right, he's a talent. But I wasn't with everybody. All of the Knicks fan base was just like, yo, throw him in, we need to get him time. Throw him in, we need to get him time. I know it's not popular, but I'm a Tibbs fan. You know what I mean? My biggest thing is I'm like, Tibbs can be stubborn. Yes, I understand that. Tibbs can be a little bit old school. Yes, I understand that. Tibbs can be married to the vets. I understand that. I hear it from my Knicks family. I hear from my real family who are Knicks fans. I get it. I hear it. But for all those people who were just talking about, you know, he got to go, we need to switch it up. It's just like, yo, bro, how many years do we have to go where we got like 17 different head coaches. Let this man carry out his contract. Let's see what he can do with the players that we have. I think what's lost on us is that this is like year 2 of the rebuild, first and foremost. And next, I don't care what you say, Tibbs creates all-stars. And the way he creates those all-stars is he plays them, he runs them into the ground, yes. But that's how you get the minutes, to get the stats, to get the notoriety, to get the wins. Tibbs ain't never throwing in the towel. He's going to try to win. And at the end of the day, if you have the stats and you win, then that's when your status goes up in the league. So it's good to see Cam out there now, whether it's as a result of injuries or not. We really don't know. We have to wait and see. But man, this kid is really, he looks more comfortable. I think when he first got there, he was still, you know, you're in a new place with new teammates. You only know one person or one or two people. You know what I mean? You know, you don't want to do too much. But I think somebody has gotten in his ear, was just like, yo, when you get out there and you get those minutes, you need to go for it. You know what I mean? Play within the offense and go for it. And so I've really been impressed with what I've seen from Cam Reddish. So that's what makes Cam Reddish the chopped cheese. You know what I mean? Relatively new, definitely good, and he's busting out there. You know what I mean? Next, we're going to look at the bacon, egg, and cheese. Be like, what up? Yo, let me get the bacon, egg, and cheese. And we always get that bacon, egg, and cheese. That's also a staple within the New York community. But damn, you know, you need that for breakfast, boy. You know, you can't get one without the other. It has to be all those components that come together, whether it's turkey bacon or bacon. I go for the turkey bacon, egg, and cheese. I don't care. Turkey bacon, egg, and cheese, let me get that. But it's 3 components that make that thing just good. Just good. So the 3 players that I want to point out are, 1, R.J. Barrett. Come on now. You already know he was going to be the primary. He the bacon, okay? You already know RJ. RJ is doing it. I'll be the first to tell you, I didn't know what RJ was. And I still don't know what he is. But we're going to get back to that. So RJ Barrett. Julius Randle. Julius Randle is up there, All right. And 3, that makes up the bacon, egg, and cheese. Man, I am going to have to say Evan Fournier. Okay? Let me explain. I know you think I'm crazy. Let me just explain because we can't disrespect Evan Fournier. All right? So, RJ Barrett, RJ Barrett is killing it. 3rd year, and this is exactly where the progress should happen. But this is also kudos to the Knicks organization. Let these players develop. Letting them develop is not making changes, kind of keeping the core together and seeing how they grow with familiarity, with comfortability and playing with each other. The Milwaukee Bucks did that. They didn't make any major moves. They let them gel, have that cohesiveness, and then put small pieces around them that put them over the top. We're nowhere near that right now. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm talking about is where RJ Barrett gets comfortable in his role and in the patterns that he sees. Now he's comfortable enough not to wait. He's not asking permission to be great. He's just being great. Now, when you ask about RJ's game, if I was to ask anybody about RJ's game, like, what is his game? You know what I mean? It's almost like porn. You know what I mean? Like, hard to describe, but you know when you see it. You know what I mean? Like, RJ, you can't say, is he a shooter? Oh, yeah, he got 3-point game. No, he really don't. Is he a consistent shooter? Is he consistent at the free throw line? Is he a strong finisher? Well, it's just RJ. And that's the biggest thing. And I hear a lot of Knicks fans, they're like, yo, man, he's going to be he's already a star. We already established that. And once again, I'm not hating on RJ. But when it comes to superstar, I was trying to really figure out, like, what is he going to bring that's going to make him that superstar? Where when you know we have a game with him and there's his direct opponent on the other side, on the other team, what can we say, all right, he's going to dominate him? And then the question becomes, well, how is he going to dominate him? And what I've seen over this since the All-Star break is that RJ plays bully ball. You know what I mean? Like, RJ will attack you and he won't stop. And RJ also never gets flustered if he misses a shot or if he's off a little bit of a game. He has a short memory. So I think RJ is similar to early James Harden. Or if you guys remember back to Detroit Pistons had Rip Hamilton. What I love about his game, and this is also answering my question, he has that early James Harden herky-jerky style where it's just like, man, just when you think you got him, like he's moving and, you know, he's switching it up and switching hands and he's stopping, he's going, his hesitation, like he has a herky-jerky style. And that was the beginning of James Harden. So interestingly enough, when he came out of the draft, that was his early comp. His early comp NBA comparison was James Harden. And I'm like, I'll take that every day. I know everybody says Jimmy Butler, but I could see in terms of the herky-jerky style, getting to the basket, being unorthodox. Yo, that's the exciting piece. So when people ask, like, what is RJ? Like, what do you see? Like, what does he bring to the table? If I was to give a scouting report, what are the pros and cons? What are the strengths and weaknesses or strengths or areas of improvement for RJ? That's it. But his confidence is now going through the roof. And for the most part, I don't want to call it this way, but it began to rise as Julius began to have struggles. Struggles with the fans, struggles with the team, struggles with his temperament. It's almost like RJ was just like, all right, well, somebody got to step up and lead this thing. And it's going to be me. And I'm not going to apologize for it. So RJ Barrett is the first. He's the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese, all right? Now, the egg obviously has to go to Julius. You know, we feel however we feel. Julius is ours, okay? At least he's ours until he's not. And honestly speaking, you know, if we continue to develop this team, if we're able to land a star or whatever have you, that's all in the future, you know what I mean? And that's not real right now. But if we decide to keep Julius 60% of the time is going to win his matchup. He is a beast. He's a monster. When he puts his head down, controlled, and drives to the basket, nobody's stopping him. He finishes well around the basket. His post-up game, mid-range game, outside game, he's become a versatile player. He's become a star. He is a star in this league. All right? And this week, slowly but surely, it's almost like, all right, he's beginning to calm down the noise. He's beginning to calm down the noise. He's beginning to lock in on his team and doing what's best. It's like he's rebought into what they're doing. And I don't know who's talked to him. I don't know what's clicked for him, but this is what it is. Once you lock in and focus on the team and playing team ball and not feeling threatened in any way or insecure about, your play, your points on the team, or whether or not you're getting the ball or whether or not you're getting the love, man, things fall together and we start looking like last year. Last year was a lot of selflessness. And they really was just like, Julius, lead us. But this is a different season. All right? And there's now more of a Batman and a Superman, you know what I mean, as opposed to a Batman and a Robin. Or there's two Batman, so to speak, or Avengers. All right, I don't know the superhero movies like that. But RJ is just as much the face of the New York Knicks at this point than Julius is. And now that Julius seems to be recognizing that and letting him rock, man, it's going to be problems. So the egg obviously is Julius. Congrats, my boy. You know what I mean? You brought it back. Last few games, you've been beasting. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know there's this narrative about the fans and you. Bro, we flipping you hours. All right? You frustrated, you family. And sometimes you got family members who frustrate you as well as we know we frustrate you when you frustrate us. We still family. All right? So the egg is Julius. All right? And the cheese, obviously, it's not Swiss cheese. There's no French cheese, but it's Evan. All right. And I want to take this opportunity to kind of big up Evan, give Evan Fournier his props. Because he got off to a rocky start. And he was really looking like a mistake. I'm going to call it for what it is. All right. He and Kemba was looking like, damn, did we trade inconsistent offense for, our defensive identity? Now, if you ask me, when you talk to certain Knicks fans, they're like, oh, man, we shouldn't have, traded the point guard, I forget his name right now. Anyway, and plus, I probably wouldn't want to say it anyway. As well as Bullock, man, they were part of our defensive identity, even though they didn't score. Nah, man. Because at the end of the day, we need scoring. So whether it's inconsistent or not, those boys have the ability to make shots. Kemba as well as Evan Fournier. But I'm just focusing on Fournier. So Fournier, man, has really been... like, he doesn't ask for the ball. You know what I mean? Like, he can drop 17 to 30 any game, but he doesn't stand out. And that is the exact type of player that you need. One of those players that you don't, he can have a breakout game like he's had in the past. And he doesn't seem to be someone who just commands the ball. He makes tough shots. That little fall away or that fade away 3-point shot, he got that down pat. You know what I mean? Coming off the curl for the three, got that down pat. He'll drive and he'll finish. I love that. Honestly speaking, I'm a fan of Evan Fournier. I'm a fan of his play style. I think Cam Reddish has a similar play style where they're really fluid. They're kind of big for the three or for the two. They can play that interchangeably as well. And it's a European type of flavor they have to the game. Excuse me. It's a European flavor that they have to the game that I believe, man, is absolutely needed. So, Evan Fournier, you are the cheese. I don't want to take up too much of that time. You got to be consistent. So I don't want to give you too much praise and then you bomb the next 4 games. All right? But chopped cheese, obviously, we already talked about bacon, egg, and cheese. We just talked about who is the dollar slice. All right? Now, our dollar slice is Mitch Robinson. Let me tell you something. We got something. I've been saying it all over videos. I've been posting it, on Instagram. I've been tweeting it out all season. I know it is a contract year, all right? Everybody wants to play their hearts out in their contract year. But Mitch Robinson, in his third year, is beasting, all right? It's great to see a center it's rare to have, I apologize, it's rare to have a center as athletic, young, and brings the intangibles that Mitch brings. Mitch doesn't need the basketball. Mitch finds the basketball. And what I absolutely love about this season, Mitch has been playing with force. And what we talk about when we say playing with force, especially in New York, is that scowl that Patrick had, when he would go up and dunk the ball. Although he's still like a kid at heart, you know what I mean? His personality is just jovial, right? But when he's dunking like Shaq. And that's a mood changer for fans. Imagine what it is for your teammates. You know what I mean? Everybody's battling for a ball. You go up there and you snatch that and you dunk that. You know what I mean? What I absolutely hate about highlights of past plays is that dunk that Shaq had on Chris Dudley. That is the most disrespectful dunk ever in history. And what I absolutely wished was that somebody would get him back. You know what I mean? Or that we had a Shaq who could dunk on somebody disrespectfully. Because if Shaq was wearing a Knicks uniform and Chris Dudley had on the LA uniform, you know what I mean? We'd been loving that joint too. And Mitch brings that same force and disrespect when he dunks. Something simple, open. I mean, he don't just. I hate the Carmelo dunk. You know what I mean? Where you just throw, just tap the ball in the basket, and then you don't hang on the rim, and you don't shake the rim or whatever have you. Yo, Mitch, bring that force, and that's going to be part of the identity, and it also intimidates. You snatch a rebound from the hands of somebody else, and then you throw it up and you flush it like that. Yo, Mitch it's been crazy. Also, his rebounding, his block shots, his running the floor, him making free throws. Mitch, I already told you, bro, you need to get the bag. New York Knicks need to stop playing and get the bag. They need to pay him more than they've paid those other cats, you know what I mean, in terms of his comparables. Pay that man. And let that man stay in the middle. He is a key piece to a championship team. He is a key piece. I could see him making a key block, a key steal. You know what I mean? Getting a key rebound, key putback, and one. He's showing it all the time, and I can envision that in the playoffs. And we didn't have him last year in the playoffs. Had we had him, it would have probably been a different story. So, Mitch Robinson, bro, you are the dollar slice. The dollar slice is the absolute staple of New York. When you think about New York, you think about pizza, and we know that we got the best pizza in the country, in the world. I don't know about Italy, but we will see. Dollar slice, Mitch Robinson, pay that man. Lastly, who is the quarter water? All right? Go to the deli. What's the importance of a quarter water? All right? Listen, you spend all of your money on your shorty or your dude, whatever have you, you know what I mean, as a girl, but you spend all your money on whoever you with, get them a dollar slice, get that other one of chopped cheese, you get yourself a bacon, egg, and cheese, and you only got a few dollars left, all right? But we can always afford a quarter water, and that's what this is. That quarter water is someone who could come into the game and shift the game by having a phenomenal quarter, a great quarter, all right? Now, it's a little bit torn as well, but I'm going to stick with my instinct and go with Quickly. Yes, Emmanuel Quickly, you are the quarter water, young man, all right? Quarter water, what I absolutely love, and I'm going to give you your props as well. Man, bro, you've been really looking solid with your handle, with your control of the offense, control of the team. I've seen a couple of instances where you've waved people out of the way, you've reset a play. And very early on, I think there was a little bit of uncertainty about people who had their spots on the floor where they wanted to get the ball, you know what I mean, or depending on the flow of the game, who was trying to demand the ball. Lately, I've seen the confidence that you've brought in running the point guard position. Your handle has been extra tight. You know what I mean? And penetration, making plays. Your shooting is starting to pick up again. But your confidence has always been unwavering. And that's another reason why I'm giving kudos to Tibbs, because Tibbs has really said from day one that Quickly is a point guard. And I'll be honest with you, I was just like, I don't see that, bro. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I don't know if I see that. But these last few games, and two of the teams are reputable, competitive teams. In the last few games, and especially after the All-Star break, Quickly has really been looking like a point guard. And I've been sitting back thinking like, yo, damn, did Tibbs just make this man a point guard? Like he could legitimately be our point guard. So I really want to give honorable mention to Deuce McBride, bro. And even last night game. I was so hyped to watch last night game. And I love watching Knicks games now with the Knicks community, because whether I'm hopping on Twitter and I'm making my points and all the Knicks family is in there and we're responding back, or halftime, I look forward to KP, with Knicks Film School doing his live. Check that out. Every Knicks game, go to Chris Persinian, and he does a live half game synopsis, halftime of the game synopsis. It's high quality and excellent. He's a funny guy. He's a knowledgeable guy as well. You know what I mean? But really, man, just it makes it much more of an enjoyable experience to be a Knicks fan as we go through these ups and downs with our team. But yo, Tibbs, man, I give him props, bro. Exactly what we've been asking for. We've been asking to develop our young players. And development doesn't always happen in the game. They don't have to play in the game. Development is when they're battling each other in practice. Development is when you go through the times like Julius has went through and you see how they respond. Do they stay connected, or is there a divide? And we know that there are so many levels to the game. Do they like each other? We watch the team play, and there is nobody that doesn't cheer for each other. You know what I mean? And that's a major thing, man. You could tell with our team, when you watch them before the game, and you watch them during the game, and when you watch them after the game, and you watch them during the press conferences, this team remains together. And there's no better example of that being the case than just to look at the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't follow the Lakers like that. I have watched a couple of games. I've watched a couple of the clips, post-game interviews, and they just seem dysfunctional. You know what I mean? And I recognize that dysfunction without having to be a fan of their season or to watch all their games, because it's very familiar to what we've been experiencing the last 15 to 20 years. It's easy to recognize. So to see our team go through what our team goes through, and then they're building, I know we want so much more. I know we wanted to build on last season, this season, but who's to say that we're not? You know what I mean? We're really kind of developing, and see, Jericho Sims didn't make the Knicks Deli today, but man, he's cooking. He is cooking. He's on the grill. That's going to be another portion. There's going to be another portion of Knicks Deli. Who's on the grill? Jericho Sims is on the mother flipping grill. If you ask me, we have our starter and we have our backup. All right? So I'm going to cut this short. It's already going longer than I expected. Knicks Deli edition, Sheer Brilliance podcast. Do me a favor, please. If you like this video, go down and click the like. You know how it helps the algorithm. Also, share, subscribe. There's going to be much more videos to come. I'm going to be a little bit more consistent with this. I think I'm going to keep it to every 3 games. I'll make a video, kind of give a synopsis of all 3 games. Love how we looked against the Clippers. Love how we looked against Sacramento as well. And man, we showed up against Dallas. Between Dallas and the Clippers, we were expected to lose. You know what I mean? As Knicks fans, you just wanted to kind of see which of our players stood out. We didn't predict that we would win. You know what I mean? But it was great. It's always great to see us win those type of games. And we always tend to raise our game on national TV. So next is Memphis. Next, and I know a lot of us are nervous, but I'm curious to see how McBride plays in that game and if Tibbs is going to give him more time. Because when McBride was put on Luka, it reminded me of Smart being put on KP. And as Knicks fans, it was frustrating because we was just like, yo, why can't you just shoot over him? But I remember Smart kept just taking his legs out, playing him aggressively and staying up in him. And that's exactly what Deuce McBride did with Luka. He made him uncomfortable. He made him pass the ball because Luka was ready to take over the game and make us another example. And had we not put McBride on him, it would have changed the game. And Tibbs almost pulled him, and I'm like, no. And then McBride hit that and1, and Tibbs left him in the game. So, Knicks fans, listen, man, we here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share with Knicks Nations. We're growing. Not only are we here, but we got next. Peace.